All right, guys, so check it out. A little update on Anomaly. Well, it turns out that Anomaly needed to have its high voltage battery replaced. Yeah, insert sad face. This car only has 20,000 miles on it. It's just over 4 or 5 years old. It's a 2020. And we got a notification that it needed a high voltage battery. And this was probably about, 3 weeks ago or so. Now, it's still under battery warranty, so that's great. It was at no cost to us. But what it did cost us is that we had to strip all the decals off the car and turn it completely back to factory. So that kind of sucked. We did that just because we didn't want to run into any issues with Tesla Service Center. As you might know, they might, just give us a hard time. So we just turned it back to stock because we're pretty fast at it. So took the full-blown race dampers off the car. We didn't know exactly when we were going to get the car back, so we ended up putting those dampers on Tim's Highland because we do have an autocross event coming up this weekend. Fortunately, we got the car back. The other thing is the event this weekend is a very long course. It's like a 1.5 mile course, autocross course, seriously. And we knew that this thing wouldn't be good at those higher speeds that this course might require. And in order to be competitive, we figured, okay, we better put the whole race setup on Tim's car anyways. So it kind of worked out. But now that this car's stock, we have a new product that I've been waiting for, anxiously waiting for many, many months, because as you guys know, Mountain Pass Performance, MPP, is basically a staple brand for us. It is our house brand. It is the brand that we use most frequently because it just all works. Like every single product that they produce just works. It's well engineered. The fulfillment is great. They manufacture majority of their products in Canada. It's great stuff. Well, the one void that they had in their product lineup is in the event that you wanted to increase the spring rates on your MPP Sports Adjustables, such as these, which actually came off of my car originally and then ended up on Tim's Highland. So you can go, track it. Is that if you wanted to increase the spring rates to their SuperSport Spring setup, that you required the use of a billet lower spring arm. And I'll go grab one of those for you right now. Hang on. I'm back. This is the billet spring arm, okay? Well, the reason for that is that they convert the rear spring, which has kind of like a tapered shape to it from the MPP Sports Adjustables. Hold on, let me go grab one of those too. Okay, I'm back. This thing. So see this? So this is designed to basically sit inside of this OEM spring bucket, all right? And then the top side has essentially a height adjuster similar to this, but a different shape on the top, so you can adjust the height. And in order to go to the SuperSport Spring setup, they convert it to a straight spring like this, and that straight spring would sit inside of this spring arm. So that's how you could adapt it so you could change out your rear spring rates and then obviously the front spring rates as well. Well, the problem is that in EVX, you can't have both the lower spring arm changed out as well as the camber arm. And if you had to choose one or the other, you're going to pick the camber arm. So for that reason, we could not get a SuperSport Spring setup on the MPP stuff that was going to be class compliant because you're going to pick the camber arm over this billet spring arm. Now, if they made this thing somehow camber adjustable and it did both of them, that could be something. Now, so maybe an eccentric on it? I don't know. Regardless, MPP came up with a solution. They've been working on it for months because they knew that I had a lot of clients inquiring about running the Mountain Pass Performance coilover, the double adjustable coilover in EVX, but they needed a spring setup that had higher spring rates than what it comes with out of the box. So we do have the standard front SuperSport Spring, all right? This goes in here, so I will swap this out for you. This will replace this spring right here. And then the rear, and this is just kind of a pre-production setup. I don't know if they'll change the spring color or not, but this spring right here is the higher SuperSport spring rate, but in a spring that will fit into the factory spring arm. So check that out. And then what we will supply to you, and as of right now, this product is available only through us, So if you guys are interested in this, just let us know. It's about, I think it's about 800 bucks. It's going to come with a new spring height adjuster because this has a larger diameter than the one on the Model 3. You will not use the rubber isolator above this either. You'll get the 2 rear springs, you'll get the 2 front springs, and then you'll get a variety of packers, bump stop limiters, essentially. So we haven't installed these yet, obviously. We're gonna go ahead and swap the springs out on the front shocks, get them on the car. We're gonna get this thing prepped, get it back to track alignment. I've kind of played with these spring perches based on where we had the height set up before for corner balancing it. I hope that we can get pretty close to it because corner balancing this car with this setup is not the funnest thing to do. So we might just have to pull the springs out or mess with it just to try and get the corner weights as close as we can. But yeah, this is exciting stuff, guys. So what we have here are 110 Newton meter springs in the front. So that's 616 pounds per inch front spring. In the back, we have the 784 pound per inch spring in the rear. And that's probably about the most that you can probably do on these dampers. At least that's what MPP is telling us. Now, there are other guys who've run EVX that have actually thrown higher spring rates at these. How well the dampers performed with those higher springs, I don't know. But in terms of what MPP has said, based on all the valving and the forces on these dampers, we're running 11K front and 14K rear. We're kind of maxing it out there. We're gonna go ahead, get these on the car. We're gonna go run it this weekend, see how the guy's doing it. We'll be running actually 2 cars this weekend. So we'll run the Highland, which will be the real competitive car, more than likely. And then we'll run this car too, so we can just shake down this product. So I'm really excited to see MPP's already done 1 install of this on one of their company vehicles to confirm that we can get to the desired ride heights we want in the rear. They said we're good to go. So without further ado, let's go. All right, guys, so Anomaly is back. As you can see, we got the decals on it. You probably see some of that in the B-roll that we just shared with you. So this was American Autocross Series, round 9 and round 10, the Larry Park Memorial event. As I had mentioned earlier, it was a 1.5 mile long track. You know, we primarily ran this car on Saturday more than we did on Sunday. And I'll give you a quick little recap of what had happened. Essentially, we had both this car and then obviously Tim's car, the Highland. We really spec'd out his car for, you know, with our race shocks and everything like that, because we really wanted that car to do well and see what it could do. It was our first time running the Highland at an autocross event. So we threw everything at that car. And this car was just really to kind of test out the MPPs with the SuperSport EVX Springs and see how it did. So we had 2 sets of wheels, identical wheels, Aspira Force AF10s, 1910.5s on both vehicles, but they had 2 different sets of tires. So we ran the RE71 RS tires on this car Saturday, and then we had the Vittor Tempesta P1 tires on Tim's Highland. And we basically were breaking those tires in at the event. We were kind of had some high expectations of the P1s, being that it was a 1.5 mile long course. We expected that it would do well in that environment. Again, the guys are extremely familiar with the RE71 RS tire, so they know exactly what tire pressures, like how it behaves driving and all that good stuff. The P1 is definitely, there's a learning curve to it, so we'll probably get into that in the other video where we talk more about Tim's Highland and kind of what we ran into with that tire, and maybe kind of, you know, we'll probably have to talk to Vittor to see if there's things that we need to do with tire pressures or setup, or maybe it's ideal operating temps, things of that sort, to maximize its grip levels. Long story short, ran the RE71 RS tire on this car on Saturday. I will tell you exactly where we set the dampers. We did set the dampers to MPP's default SuperSport damper settings. We actually do run them a little bit stiffer when we go to a road course, but we figured we just keep things really simple and have a great baseline. So we just wanted to throw everything on this car, kind of how MPP recommended it. They don't really indicate if this is like autocross damper settings or not or whatever, but we just did this. So what we did is in the front, compression, 2 clicks open, rebound, 4 clicks open. In the rear, compression, 2 clicks open, rebound, 3 clicks open. So the dampers did have room to go stiffer, and of course, my good luck, but my bump knobs on the bottom of the front shocks had fallen out just before the event. I mean, at the shop when we were installing them. So we preset it, and it was just too cumbersome with the runs going back to back to be able to adjust things. So we didn't get to make any changes. What Mac had told me is he wanted to see if he could set the dampers stiffer to see what it would do, but unfortunately we didn't have the time to do that. But what I will do is tell you guys some of Mac's driving impressions, because he actually drove this car Saturday, and then on Sunday, both he and Justin drove just had one run each in this car, and then the rest of the runs they put into the Highland, because we needed to work on dialing those dampers in, and we ended up switching tires on Sunday, so we ended up putting the Vittors on this car Sunday, which is what's on the car currently, because we never took them back off. And then we put the RE71 RSs on the Highland because the guys just felt more comfortable and familiar with that tire, and they really wanted to see what the Highland could do if we had all of the right components on that car that they were comfortable with and familiar with. So that's kind of what happened. So this feedback came from Mac, because on Saturday he must have done 5 or 6 runs, something like that, in this car while Justin was piloting the Highland. So the first thing Mac started out with, he's like, it's very important that people understand that these MPP coilovers do not feel entry level. The ride quality on the race springs or race settings feels a little bouncy on the street, but very manageable. I will say, because we preset the dampers when he took the vehicle, he actually drove it back to his place before putting it on the trailer. But I drove the car at softer damper settings, and it rides super, super good. So it's amazing. And we already knew this because we've run these spring rates before, just in a different spring shape. But it's really, really amazing what the damping range is on these MPP Sports Adjustables. Now, the SuperSports because of the springs, but the actual valving and the dampers themselves remain the same. but it is extremely compliant. You can soften them up and drive it on the street, and then you can really stiffen them up and take them to the track. So here's what he wrote. Surface compliance and smoothness. The first thing you'll notice is how smooth and composed the car feels over surface changes. Over transitions, patches, or mild bumps, the MPPs don't crash or hop. They absorb and reset quickly. They aren't overly stiff, which means the car stays in contact with the ground, giving you more usable grip. Turn-in. Turn-in was direct and predictable. It doesn't have the immediate hyper response of a high-end race damper, but that's not a drawback. The steering loads up smoothly, giving you confidence without any harshness. The car rotates naturally and can be adjusted on throttle mid-corner. Corner phases. Entry. The car settles nicely under braking with a stable platform, no excessive dive or pitch. Feedback through the chassis tells you exactly what the front tires are doing. And I will say that's one amazing thing about these MPPs, the fact that you can adjust both low speed, compression, and rebound. It's something that we haven't found in some of these other single adjustable, obviously coilovers, where we're able to really dial it in so that we don't have a lot of dive in the nose under braking. So in a lot of the single adjustable shocks, you'll still have this issue with the nose diving a lot. And with the MPPs, we're able to dial a lot of that out. All right, so mid-corner felt very balanced and progressive. There's just enough roll to tell you where the grip is, but not so much that it feels slow or vague. You can make mid-corner corrections without upsetting the platform. Corner exit. Strong composure under power. The rear digs in well and allows you to roll into the throttle confidently. No hopping or loss of traction unless you're way over the limit. Overall feel. The MPP setup gives you a very drivable car with a wide performance window. It's forgiving without being soft, responsive without being twitchy. It allows you to attack corners consistently, and that makes it fast, not just once, but lap after lap. So that is Mac's full review of the dampers. Now what I'll share with you are some of the times from Saturday, so round 9. Okay, oh my gosh, I should have brought my glasses. You can see here, this is what I'm dealing with. All right, so day 1, round 9. I'm excluding Tim's car from these rankings because, in my opinion, the Highland is kind of a cheat code car, you know, it's much, much faster. So I don't really think you should compare the times. I like to prefer to compare times between just, let's say, Gen 1 Model 3s to Gen 1 Model 3s. There is one other Highland that's in here, which we've done a video on. That's Justin's car. He's still on stock dampers and stuff like that. Is running the same exact Superior Ford setup with the RE71 RSs. And then, you know, the other, you know, good friend of ours is running a Gen 1 just like this, but he's running MCS dampers, double adjustables, higher spring rates, Apex wheels, 19 by 11s and 11.5s. I don't fully recall his tire size, but he's probably running like a maybe, I don't know if he's running staggered. He probably is 295s in the front and 305s in the rear. RE71 RSs, I'm pretty sure as well. So here's what happened on day 1. Mac ran a 90.033, and the second runner-up in a Gen 1 ran a 91.914. So there was almost a 2-second difference there. Both on the same tires, albeit we're running probably 30% softer spring rates with the MPP setup, much less expensive dampers, skinnier wheels, skinnier tires, yeah, and less camber too, actually. So we're probably running like a whole degree less camber. This car only got to about 2.8 degrees of camber up front. So, you know, that's a real testament to, again, not only Mac's driving skills, but also this product itself, because we've already set a standard that this product can produce fast times with less camber, skinnier tires, skinnier wheels, all that good stuff. So we know that it's very, very capable. On day 2, what happened is we ended up swapping tires, like I mentioned, and wheels. So we threw the RE71 RSs on Tim's car, and then this car got the Vitours. So day 2, and you'll see this now, on day 2, they run reverse. So day one, they'll run, let's just say whatever, clockwise, and then day two, they'll run, counterclockwise. So on day two, with the Vitors, they only did one run each, so both Mac and Justin. The fastest time that they ran was a 90.85. Our other good friend was actually faster than us on that day. He ran an 89.365. Obviously, he's still on his Bridgestones. We moved to the Vitors. So there was about like almost a 1.5 seconds difference there. So, that does make us believe it would have been interesting to see if we kept the Bridgestones on this vehicle for the second day, how it would have done. I will finish off by saying that, Tim's car with the Bridgestones did take first in class, and he ran, I think it was like 88 or so. I don't have that paper here, but I believe he did run an 88. So that wasn't too bad. We still got our butts handed to us by a Plaid that ran like an 86, but he's in a different class altogether, probably running Olin's TTX coilovers and a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Anyways, long story short, the MPPs did really, really good. I'm super glad that we have this option available now. The dampers themselves, the coilovers, you have to buy them as sports adjustable, so they'll come with the sports adjustable springs. And then you buy the SuperSport EVX setup that we have available as an additional item, so it's an add-on. You can't order them out of the box with the SuperSport springs, unfortunately. So it's around just under $3,000 for the coilovers with the sports springs, and then you'd spend another about $800 or so for the SuperSport springs plus shipping. But that's that setup, under $3,800 or around $3,800. You'll have MPP custom valve KW V3s, independent compression and rebound. Just to remind you guys, we have the MPP front upper control arm, we have the lower control arm bearings, the camber arm in the back, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and the tow arm. We do have the tow arm because that's class legal. We've got obviously upgraded brake pads, lines, fluid, and two-piece rotors. A pretty basic setup, to be honest, and a very, very capable car. I'm really excited about the fact that this car and these springs are so streetable when you soften up the dampers, and then so trackable when you stiffen them up. And for all the reasons that Mac had mentioned, it's just such an easy car to drive. And one more thing, the freaking roof cracked on this thing. I don't even know how it happened, but now we got to strip this thing and go back to stock suspension because it's going back to Tesla again. It's like first with the Highland and now with this thing. What's up? So that's all I got for you guys. But thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notifications bell so that you guys can watch out for the next video where we get to talk about Tim's car and how that thing did at round 9, round 10 of the American Autocross Series Larry Park Memorial event. All right, guys, we'll see you guys on the next one. We'll put links in the description below of all of these products. And if you guys have a Mountain Pass car that you want to autocross and you need to be an EVX class and you want to bump up your spring rates, give us a ring, hit us up, check out the links, click on the website. They are special order. It's a very new product. So we do want to get an initial run going so that we can get them on the shelves. So if you're interested, please do reach out to me. I'd love to help you guys out and support you guys and get this thing onto your car so that we can get out there and have fun racing. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.